At CFR Capital Group, we offer securities through Questar Capital Corporation and also offer advisory services through Questar Asset Management, which is a registered investment advisor. CFR Capital and H&R Block are independent of Questar Capital Corporation and Questar Asset Management. Questar Capital Corporation and Questar Asset Management do not provide tax and or legal advice.
So welcome back, everyone. Now, my next guest is Frank Calisi, and he has been on my show before, and you are with CFR Capital Group. Welcome to the show, and I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do and what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we are a tax and financial firm. Where I think we're different is we focus a lot on the tax implications of investing with our clients. We're independent advisors, which means we can really invest with any company out there that's suitable for our clients. So I think that puts us above the rest.
Now, today you said you really wanted to kind of focus on women.
Right.
Okay, so listen up, all you women, right now.
Yeah, really, for being in this business for 17 years, it's really bringing awareness to our women. A lot of our clients are women clients, and whether millennials or baby boomers, times are changing. Things are different now. There are a lot more women in the workforce. They're working longer in the workforce, and we don't find them to be as knowledgeable as the men out there. And that's something that we need to change in financial planning.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, obviously financial planning, first of all, people think with financial planning you've got to have money.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case.
No, financial planning really is planning their finances, whether it's credit card debts, whether it's just 401k contributions, IRA contributions, insurance needs, tax planning. It's really the overall planning of their lives. Now,
you can you do free consultations with people.
That's right, correct.
And you can contact him. His phone number is 480-621-5851. The website is CFRcapital.com. I'm on it now because I might have some other questions that I want to ask you. Mm-hmm. But also, I find it interesting. I think that it's also very important. There's a lot of women out there that find themselves, especially, let's say, their significant other passes away,
right,
or they get in a divorce, and all of a sudden they have no clue as to what to do. I think that people should get educated way before that, and that's
right,
sort of what this is about.
That's exactly what it's about. It's, at some point, 90% of women will be financially responsible of making their own decisions, whether they've been with someone for 50 plus years, whether they've been single, whomever it may be. At some point, 90% of the women out there are going to have to make their own decisions financially.
We live longer, you guys.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the statistics that you also said you had, which are pretty interesting.
Right. Well, I think, in the past, really, women traditionally were responsible for the children. They stayed home. They were homemakers for their husbands and for their families in general. And so they've had 13 years less in the workforce than men do, which means they have less income, less money to invest in when they retire. And they could be widowed, they could be divorced. And so that's something that they need to women now are just working longer, starting earlier, single more. And so now we project, there was a poll out there saying in 2030, 2/3 of the nation's wealth will be owned by women.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome, though.
Big number.
That's a great number. Now, again, you can call him direct. He does do free consultations. His phone number is 480-621-5851. That website, it's CFRcapital.com. Obviously, you help both men and women, but, you seem to have a lot of women clients, and today you're focusing on that for a good reason. Your youngest client, when should we start?
The earlier the better. Start with your 401k. Even as a child, have your parents open up an IRA for you, educational IRAs. Invest as early and often as possible. Those dollars definitely add up to future results for sure.
Right. And I mean, but here's the thing, that not everybody today has some of those things. So, especially there's a lot of women that aren't working, that they end up taking care of their children, so they don't have a 401k.
Correct.
So,
but if they are taking care of their children and their significant other is working, they can open up spousal IRAs. They don't have to have work income to do that. And really, it's a matter of just saving as much as they can. In general, and for our single women and women in general that are working, we want them to contribute to the 401ks as early and often as possible.
So you have this question here, and I'm going to ask it. Why is it harder for women to save for retirement? Why is it challenging for them? And don't say it's because we go shopping all the time, because that's not fair.
Well, I obviously, as I said before, times are changing, but right now into today's workforce, women make about 76% of what men make in the same field. So they're making a little bit less income. As I said before, because they were homemakers or taking care of their parents or whomever, they have 13 years less in the workforce, which amounts to about $250,000 less to have for retirement. Not only that, they are statistically living longer, which means their money needs to last longer. So there are definitely some challenges that they're facing.
Well, if you're listening to this right now and you're a woman and you are, maybe you are, even if you're already married and you're still with your husband for a long time, it is a good idea just to sit down, even with the both of you, to sit down and have this consultation, find out where you stand. You also do second opinions, I'm sure. There's a lot of people out there that might already have financial advisors, but you never know. He might know something that a second opinion is always great.
We hope they do, and a lot of our clients had a financial advisor or continue to have another advisor, which is absolutely fine with us. We do second opinions on tax returns as well. Our job really is not only bringing awareness, but sitting down with them and going over an overall goal. Another big challenge is their health situation down the road. Because they're living longer, there's long-term care needs that they need to focus on now before it's too late and they get a little older and unhealthier.
Well, you might be married right now. You might be divorced and listening to this, and that's a really good idea. Or even if you're in that position where you're on the fence of getting a divorce, what a great time to come in and talk to you first, because that could tell you a lot of what you should do even to prepare.
Right. And there's statistics out there, and if I was listening to this, say, statistics, shemistics. it's that doesn't apply to me. And that's why we sit down with them and customize portfolios for them to meet their particular needs
so
for their family.
So can you do those free consultations? And the phone number to call them is 480-621-5851. And the website is CFRcapital.com. Okay, before we go to a break, you say that there are women that make bigger influences these days, and what they hold in the future. Go ahead.
Right. Again, there's a poll, a study by 2020. Women expected to have control of $22 trillion of the nation's wealth, and by 2030, be 2/3 of the nation's wealth.
Right on.
Women are a lot more market savvy. They're more conservative. They understand the value of a dollar. And
I'll tell
you're
you,
going to see in the future that's going to see results.
It's not the 50s anymore, It's really not. And there's a lot of things that you need to learn, and the things that you can find out. And through him, he does a free consultation with you. If you're already working with someone, he does a free second opinion for you. Also for taxes. Today is, hopefully everybody got that taken care of. Today is tax day. But if you want a second opinion, they also do that for you. We can talk about that in a minute. You can give them a call. They do free consultations. The phone number is 480-621-5851. That website is CFRcapital.com. Just real quickly, what are your final words before we go to a break?
Well, continue to plan early, plan often, save as much as you can.
And what it's really all about, financial planning isn't just because you finally got some money or, you're coming into some money or whatever. Right. It is about doing it now, planning now, so that you're not in trouble later.
Our specialty is just putting things into layman's terms. People are very intimidated by planning, and that's our job, is to help them.
Give them a call. That number is 480-621-5851. It's CFRcapital.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. We're with Frank Calisi, and he is with CFR Capital Group. We were talking at the break, and you had said that you wanted to do a money guide that is for women.
Right.
Okay, I want to talk about what that is. We're going to do a giveaway. I love doing giveaways on my show. And so what is that?
Well, really, it's a guide to help start investing, a checklist, if you will, an organizer to talk about what investments they currently have. Do they have a will over trust? Where are their important documents? So really, it's more of a checklist / organizer for them to help them start the path to their planning.
I think everyone should have that. I really do. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. We're going to give that to everyone that calls in because I think, again, that here's the thing about it. People put this on the fence. They just do. They put everything on the fence for some reason, and this is one of them, the big ones.
Well, the big reason is because they think about other people all the time. Whether it's work, whether it's their children, whether it's their parents, their significant other, it's very rare that they get a time to really think about them and their future. And that's what I always tell clients when they come in the office. This is your time.
I have to tell you,
time to talk about you.
The more and more I listen to people who are investors, and I hear about this, I have some people who've written books on it that have been on the show, and I hear it says to me more and more, people, listen up, because this is something we need to do. We can't rely on anyone else, really, but ourselves. I don't even care if you're married or not. And we talked about that.
And you plan for the worst and you hope for the best. And so we ask the tough questions. We ask scenarios that we've gone through over the last 20 years we've been in business, just to get their wheels turning, to get them to talk about things. Because with our clients in general, whether it's their parents, their children, they don't seem to communicate very well. And then it becomes too late. And then they don't know what to do, or what the wishes are, or what the money situation is. So we have those conversations and ask those tough questions.
He does free consultations. Also, he does second opinions for tax returns. So if you've got something you're questioning, call him and he can tell you what's going on.
You got it. The IRS gives you 3 years to file an amended return if there has been a mistake in order to get a refund. So feel free to take advantage of that as well.
So you can call him. The number is 480-621-5851. The website is CFRcapital.com. Our lines are open here, and we've got everyone getting this. Everyone's going to get it's a money guide. It's an organizer and checklist for investing. It's a guide to start. It's not necessarily that you're going to be investing in all this money and this and that with things. It's planning to where to go to get to that point.
That's correct. And with our clients, they always ask, do I have enough money? And I tell them, you do what you can. But most importantly, putting the investments aside, you want to make sure that you're debt-free when you retire. That's really the biggest part of planning, is when you have so much debt to rely on, that means you need a lot of income to subsidize that.
Again, you can help anyone, not just women.
That's correct.
But we're just focusing on that today. And our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone is going to get this money guide. It's an organizer and a checklist for planning for retirement. And again, our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show, because I truly believe that this is something that everyone should really have. All right. So what are the pitfalls to avoid?
Well, for us, when this is something that when we sit down with clients and what we talk about some areas, I always felt it's cheaper to learn from other people's mistakes than your own. And so we go over some mistakes that people have made in the past, and it could be anywhere from someone not having any money to the Rockefellers of the world, the Wrigleys of the world that have made countless mistakes in their estate planning. And number one is you want to plan for your lifetime. Statistically, women live longer than men, and statistically, it's currently 81 years, give or take, that they're living, and you want to make sure that you pick the correct Social Security, your pension, your IRAs, retirement. You want to make sure that you have sound investments to make sure that lasts your lifetime, something realistic. Number two, planning for your health care. A lot of our clients don't plan for long-term care, life insurance, health insurance after work. So those are the things that we cover as well. Thirdly would be making emotional decisions. We see so many mistakes of that happening. So many clients get out at the wrong times and want to get in at the wrong times because of emotion. So we try to take that emotion off the table for them to make sound long-term investments. And then fourth is not seeking professional advice. I joke with my clients because that's what I like to do, but, Google seems to be a professor of all these days. Mm-hmm. And, we always tell our clients, just call and ask. We'll give you the best advice we can, whether it's something that we do for you or just a particular question that you have. Seek professional advice.
And I want to also make it very clear what you really are talking about today. It's from the beginning. It's starting to plan of what you need to do way before you're investing. Right?
Correct.
Because
Correct.
there's a lot of steps to this. And first of all, number one thing that I hear that you can help people with is, especially you said the number one thing is you want to retire and not be in debt.
Correct.
So I'm hearing that one of the first things that you probably look at is what they owe. Right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so you're going to help them. And I would think a lot of people there's a lot of people also who have, they've gotten themselves from the 2008 and 9 and 10 that got hurt sure. on their credit, that maybe someone like you who could turn around and it's not just a credit card advisor type person,
right.
It's way different.
It's about having good credit versus bad credit. You never want to have debt in general, but good debt is owning a house. Where you have mortgage interest that you're able to deduct, and that mortgage interest will decrease over time. Bad debt are credit cards, student loan interest, areas that are just high interest rates that you're just paying really interest and will never go away. Those are the areas you really want to focus on if you have debt in.
Right, and you got to figure out how to do that, and that's why it's a great idea to talk to someone like this, and he does free consultations. We've got everyone getting the money guide that he has. It's an organizer and checklist for planning it's a retirement, but really planning what you're going to do to save money and make sure you're not in debt.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can call us here for that at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I love these checklist things, because you really can go down and say, well, do I have this and whatever? And when you talk to you can have that with you to kind of go over those things to make sure you don't miss anything.
Exactly. And again, a lot of our clients get intimidated. They don't know the questions to ask. And we tell them all the time, let's just have a conversation. We'll ask the questions. Just give us some honest answers. A lot of things that we talk about has nothing to do with investing, but is equally important to our clients, which is why we address those areas. So we talk about the trust or a will or whatever is on their mind in particular.
And you can help anyone valley-wide.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, we have 3 offices in the Valley. We have one in North Scottsdale, Kierland. In Scottsdale on 101 and Shea Boulevard, and in Gilbert.
So in North Scottsdale, and Gilbert.
That's correct.
And all of that's on your website, so they
Yes.
can help anyone in the Valley. They have at least 3 offices that you can check out on their website. It's CFRcapital.com. They do free consultations. The number to call them, it's 480-621-5851. Our lines are open here, and I implore everyone to get this money guide. Obviously, it's not just for women. But
Correct.
It's good for women. We're talking about that today because of the women and what happens to them in general.
Absolutely. Again, with our women that are homemakers and have children that don't have the ability to work because they're doing something
Busy.
far more important that unfortunately is not getting paid as much as they should. But sometimes they wind up to where they don't know the finances. And so this is a focus of ours. Unfortunately, most advisors out there focus on the male, focus on the husband. And statistically, 70% of women who, when their husbands pass away, fire the advisor within a year because the advisors never really paid attention to them. So that's our focus, is to make sure if you're married, we make sure you have both spouses, what their wishes are. And if you're not married, we don't care. Man, women, doesn't matter to us. We want to focus and help you on your goals.
Now, again, they do free consultations. You can call them direct. Their number is 480-621-5851. They have 3 offices. There's one in North Scottsdale, and Gilbert. So they can help anyone valley-wide. You can check them out on the website. It's CFRcapital.com. Our lines are open here, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. It's a money guide. It's an organizer and a checklist for planning, not only just for your retirement, for just starting in the beginning, just to figure out what you need to do to get to that point. I believe everyone should have it. Again, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So, Frank, really, what sets you and your, CFR Capital apart from anybody else?
Well, I would say, me personally, the passion that I have with my clients, I treat my clients like they're family. I'm an Italian from New York, and everyone to me is family. But really what sets our company apart is our tax knowledge. We have enrolled agents, CPAs, with over 30 years of experience that can help on the tax side. Because really the part of the financial planning is what your tax burden, what your tax consequences are going to be down the road. And so we prepare mock tax returns for them to show them what that looks like. So that certainly sets us apart from most.
For anybody right now that has, it's tax day, so you can do second opinions for everyone out there. You can call them. They do free consultations. That number is 480-621-5851. It's CFRcapital.com. Call in here and get that guide. Again, that number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.